Welcome back. May just be a crucial day for the markets with the index all set to touch their lifetime highs. But at 21,000 on the Sensex, what are the stocks that look good to buy at these levels? Anu Jain joins in now with her top 5 picks of trade. Anu, let's start off with a stock that announces its numbers today, Jindal SAW. How does the chart look for that one?
Well, in fact, most of the buy calls today are for the stocks which are announcing results today, so can't help it. It's looking good. It went and made a 52-week, almost attempted the 52-week high last week, 10 days back, and then receded very strongly from there. Took support at the lower levels of 210, 211. Bounced back, looking good. It's poised for 234. That's what I want to see, how it kind of manages those levels of 234. If it kind of scales up there, holds out there, it's a high beta, so it can, over the last 2 weeks, it's been a high beta. It can move to 245. I would say because it's a result-oriented stock, would keep a stop loss of about 218.
Morning, Anup. You like Apollo tires this morning as well?
Yeah, that's the other way of the round. It's like consolidating at those levels for quite some time. And in fact, looks like it's poised now towards at least making a pullback rally to 77, 78. So it's at or closer to 74. I would say 72 around should be the stop loss of 71.80. And I think it's poised for 77, 78. And then we will see how it consolidates there, how the market holds on there. But at the moment, it looks poised for that.
And you're trading positive on Renuka Sugar?
In fact, all commodities, so whether it's the metals or the soft commodities, I think they're going to be positively biased over the next 1 week to 2 weeks. So sugar as such, the whole sector, so whether you want to play Renuka, you want to play Bajaj Hindustan, you want to play EID Parry, that's completely your choice. But I think on the charts, Renuka is the strongest, so I would say probably with a stop loss of 95.5. Around for a target closer to 103, 104. So I would play Renuka, but the whole sector is looking good. So it's not a call essentially on a stock, but on a sector.
From the frontliners this morning, Anu, you like Tata Motors. You see it significantly surging above these 1250 levels?
Well, yes, it looks good. I think, again, it's predominantly going to be running on results, but at the same time, that's the reason I've kept a stop loss, which is less than 2%, about 1210. I think it looks good for about 1370, 1380 in the run that it's going on to. But I would probably play it for 1280 right now. I think it's a good investment stocks. Like I've been harping on stocks for probably 2 months and 3 months like we did with State Bank over the last 2 months. I think even this is one stock. So I don't know how the results are going to pan out. But if there is a dip, I would probably use the dip to get into the stock. I think over a longer period of time, 1450 is what the charts are showing as a poise, target, and I would use the dips to get into it. If there is momentum to play the momentum, I'd probably play for 1270, 1280.
And tell us about your last stock then, Hindalco.
Well, that again comes as a whole asset class. So metals are going to be shining. At least that's what the whole charts are showing. So be it Hindalco, which has been the leader over the last 2 weeks, which has kind of moved beyond the zone. So it's looking good. It's close at 232. I think it can move to 254 pretty fast. It's a high beta. I would use the levels right now or any dip to get into it. Stocks which haven't moved in the last 2 weeks can give a pullback. So between all of them, I think the stronger one would be Hindustan Zinc and probably even a Tata Steel for a bounce. But as of the now, the momentum is Hindalco and I would probably stick with it.
And for the Nifty, Anu, are we good for new highs, all-time highs today?
Well, the chances of the Nifty moving are now far higher than what they were last week, the event being out. Yes, 63.57 around, there will be resistance, but I think it will be conquered, maybe not today, maybe just today touch and stay around that level. But the fact still remains that we are looking good for about 65, 65.50. Longer term charts are showing even higher targets, but I think it's going to be a step kind of a fashion like we've done, 4 steps up, 2 down, then again up. So I think it's looking good for up. Very difficult to say where exactly today, but I think closer to 65.50 would be your R1 and closer to 65.80 is R2. So I think in that zone we should be trading positive.
All right, stay on, Anu.
The biggest Diwali cracker was Delta Corp. Where is that stock going after its phenomenal move?
Well, it's possibly one of the strongest stocks and charts I've seen for quite some time. It's definitely looking that it's going to go some more higher, but I think it's way overbought now. So I would probably keep a stop loss closer to 105 and trade it for the upside. To get in at these levels looks a little dicey because I think it's way overbought. But I would probably keep holding it if it is, because I think there could be another 4-5%. But since it's overbought and there is so much of enthusiasm which has continued for some time, there could be a dip. I think probably closer to 97, 98 is where I would look into getting into the stock again. But as of now, I'd just let it be.
Okay, let's take a break. When we come back, what about JP Associates? That made a smart move to 134 on Friday.
Well, it's moved quite well. Over 131, the strength is looking that the stock is building up strength to attempt those 142 to 148 levels again. Broken down quite substantially to those 120 levels, and now it's kind of garnering strength. So if the more it's holding on over 131, the strength of the counter is definitely increasing. So I think with a stop loss of 131, one can play for 142. And I'd probably buy it on dips. And there is momentum on the counter, poised first for around closer to 140. And then if it moves, stays there, then we'll see how it moves. But 140 is a lot of resistance. This is one stock where there is supply at every level still waiting to get absorbed. So I would still be a little cautious about the counter.
Okay, let's wait by for the pre-opening rates.
Anu, what are your thoughts on the frontlining banking space? Something like an SBI, it's covered so much ground in the last 1.5 months. Do you see it significantly stay above this 3,500 mark?
Well, we've been extremely bullish not only as a house but as a technical analyst right from the time it broke through that 2550, 2600. It's one of the best stocks that we've kind of carried forward with. I think it's good for 3800. So I would probably say yes at 3500 also it looks good. It's run up sharply, especially the last week after consolidating at around 31, 3150 technically where it took support. It basically bounced back to those 34 plus levels very sharply. Looks good to buy on dips, looks good that the momentum can carry it forward. Result time, so it's a little difficult to say how the results would impact the prices, but if there is a dip, I would definitely pick up the counter. The charts are showing a target of about 3750 to 3800.
Okay, the pre-open session is done.
I know from the broader markets, a couple of stocks that have seen significant interest have been the likes of Dish TV and Sri Ashtavinayak. Anything more on the charts that you're seeing if you track both of these?
I haven't seen Ashtavinayak, but Dish is looking good. There is a good breakout which has happened not just on the daily charts but on the weekly charts. I think it's looking good to buy. There's a pattern breakout which is actually indicating of a huge breakout closer to, the returns could be very high from your 35 to 40%, but it's yet to kind of get more momentum into it. The last 1 week has been very good for it. So I would say that probably it looks good at the moment for about a 5 to 8% move, and then it'll consolidate. But yes, the chart pattern on Dish, I think the whole entertainment pack I'm seeing is moving. There's been consolidation and moving, but I think Dish looks a very good buy at these levels.
Anu, speaking of autos, you spoke about Tata Motors early in the morning. What about something like an M&M which is inching towards 800?
Well, all of them are looking good, whether you look at Ashok Leyland, whether you look at M&M. I think the bias is definitely positive, and I would continue to buy into the autos. So M&M, where it's close, it's actually giving a breakout again, and I would say probably it looks good for 820 to 840. Ashok Leyland has got resistance around those 80 levels. If it manages to cross that, then you're seeing some more action and fireworks there. So overall that sector is positive, and I think there is possibility of it moving about 4 to 5%. We saw a good breakout on Friday on basically all of these stocks. So I think with Tata Motors leading, you could see some kind of momentum build up in the entire sector.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thanks very much for staying on for this morning's opening. It is exactly at 6300, the Nifty now 50 points away from an all-time peak, but doing some work or being made to do some work before taking out that all-time high. But are we good from a liquidity and fundamental perspective? Corp? But come back in a minute to hear all of that. 6276 on the Nifty, so we have not dashed to new highs. We've just about consolidated and given back a little bit post the Murat session. We'll be back in a minute.